Hey guys, what is up? This is Krazak here, and welcome back to our third episode of our Final Fantasy 1 playthrough. So, I know I'm really enjoying this series, and I hope you guys are too, but we have a lot in store today. We start working on one of our main key items for the game, as well as we start really seeing how our team develops. In between episodes, you'll see that I have leveled up a little bit more, that I've done some training, but also that I do have some more stuff to work on, and so that's a lot of what this early part is. Just getting geared up once again, as I usually do. I get geared up, I go basically do my shopping beforehand, so that I can be ready for the rest of the episode, but this will be exciting for you guys. So, I really hope you enjoy. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Now, the first leg of this journey is really, honestly, the most annoying. I mean, you've been in this area, you've been able to beat the enemies, but it just comes down to, it's like, okay, I have to find this cave, I have to find a way there, I have to defeat all these enemies to get there. Why can't it just be close and me just go in and take it? Well, that kind of, I think, detracts from the story a little. I mean, it's a mysterious cave. It's like, okay, this long dead civilization, as you'll see by the Western Keep, had used this cave to store some treasure. They have a bunch of loot in this cave. And I mean, it used to be fine, but with the fall of the Western Keep, this cave became infested by monsters. And so now it's basically just a grave, and the kingdom's loot remains there. But you're not gonna see too much of that left. And it ends up being more of a crypt or like a maze than it does an actual place to store loot. And then you'll see the king is just sitting there in the Western Keep. It's like, I want my kingdom back. I want to be the king. So really, like, even though it doesn't say, I think it portrays a really interesting story. So that even though it's not like I'm going to just get there, yeah, even though it's not just right there, I think it still helps with the story. But we're almost there, so this is good. And I mean, I know my way around the map fairly well, even though I'm not the best, and even though I'm not like the most familiar with the route, I still know like this game pretty well, especially the early part. And it's well worth it to know. Okay, come on, Ogre. Just die already. Oh, there we go. Okay. Alright, here it is, right down here. Okay, we're close. And... oh, there it is. And ironically, it's just a hole in the ground in the middle of a swamp. I mean, who would put a keep right there? I don't know, but I'm excited for this loot run. Is it bad to say that I'm kind of refreshed to be back in this cave? I know it sounds kind of weird, but at the same time, just... this cave is honestly just a lot of fun. I mean, you really get to see a lot of how we're getting so powerful. And that's exciting. And in addition to it, the soundtrack just keeps you on your toes the whole time. Which, I know it's kind of weird to talk about that now, but the soundtrack to these games is just absolutely brilliant. Just, I'm not entirely sure who wrote them, but whoever did a brilliant job. And I mean, thank you. Whoever you are, I apologize that I don't know you. I guess the question for you guys is, what is your favorite soundtrack for your games? Go ahead and leave that down in the comments below. I'm interested to hear, just because I know I really like the Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy soundtracks, to a lot of these games. Just a lot of them are really good. And I mean, you eventually get some more famous pieces, like, for instance, One-Winged Angel, the Sephiroth piece, rather, that came in Final Fantasy VII. Now, granted, this isn't it, but this track is one that I really love. And I mean, it really helps me get through this because the section is, honestly, kind of difficult if you're not properly prepared. And these enemies can get quite brutal. So, like, I have a lot of magic points now, but you're gonna see that steadily decreasing, and there's not too much that I can do about it if I want to progress through this at a regular rate. However, it is well worth it, as you get a lot of loot from this place. Like, you get a lot of your early game loot from it. Whoop. Sorry about that. It's a bit of a graphical glitch that happens sometimes with an emulator. Not sure if you know. I mean, I have access to the game, it's just the fact that if I'm going to record it as of right now, I need a computer. So, I'm sorry about the graphical glitch, just put up with it for now. And I'll do my best to make sure that it doesn't happen, but it will happen from time to time, and it means only natural. So here we go, gargoyles, usually pretty tough, but tend to do okay. I mean, really you'll see. I think they have a chance to paralyze you, which is really something that I hate, but one good hit with a magic blast will just cream them. And I mean, you'll see. Green slimes. These things, I think, are the annoying ones. If I'm remembering right. Yeah, these ones are the annoying ones. They only take 1 damage from physical attacks. And then, if you hit them with a magic blast, they're super weak to them. Kinda not to be confused with blue slimes, because the blue slimes in this cave are actually, I think, the opposite, where they're weak to physical attacks and resistant to magic. So it can be kind of tricky. Yeah. Oh, it's a gray ooze, not a blue slime. My bad. But yeah. It's the same exact concept, just be careful about that. I know I've made the mistake several times, and it's not one that is outside of what I know you guys can do too, if you're planning on running this game. Alright, there we go. Yeah. So, a lot of it is, where am I? I get lost so easily and I hate it. Alright. I need to go the other way. That's right. Yeah, I think I did all the loot that I can for now up there. But I know maybe once I get the Mystic Key, then I can continue. Ugh, big group of ghouls. No problem for Dia. And I mean, I considered getting Diarrhea, but at the same time, just look at this. Just boom. All dead. Just that's all it takes. The thing is, in this part of the cave, this is why you really need the mages. Just because they're really, really powerful. And I mean, my main damage dealers aren't actually my physical attackers like my knight and my monk. For once, it's actually the mages. Which is really why I end up loving this class. Just, it's so ridiculously fun. And I mean, some parts in the game, it's like, they're kind of so-so. They can't take a lot of hits, they fall easily. But, oh, paralysis. I hate it. But, the thing is, like, with all this, just, oh great, there's that too. And also what I was saying, just, with the mages, they're impressive throughout the entire game once you get them going. Not just, oh, you can only do this so much. For me, I'm also really glad that they improved the combat system to be an MP cost instead of just, you can only use this ability so many times. Because, I mean, you get up to it, you can start using level 1 magic at level 1, of course. But you can only use one of it. And that's it. It's like, really? But then as you start progressing in level, you can start using it more. But it was just one where it's like, okay, yeah, the earlier you get it, the better. But it gets kind of weird to where you can't really use spells so often, but you have to really portion it. Which I mean added a challenge, but again, it's not really a challenge that I like too much. And I mean, I know it didn't make the game impossible, as plenty of people got to Chaos, plenty of people beat Chaos. But for me, I prefer the Game Boy Advance version just because of its smooth mechanics, its improved graphics, its improved battle system. Just, in general, it is better. And yes, I have played both in order to be able to compare these. So, just as a fair reference. Little bit of a review, I guess. Just, it's good to take a look at what you can do in these games, because during a section like this, it's not really too fun if you don't talk about something. So I figure, hey, might as well talk about something. And a couple things just come to mind. Just the soundtrack of the game, the quality of the game, just why I love this game so much. And I mean, that's another good topic. Just, what's your favorite game and why? I know for me this is definitely one of my favorites, just because it's a good casual experience as well as you get a lot of adventure. And with that lot of adventure, you also get a lot of finding out, it's like, okay, how do you do this? It's like, sometimes walkthroughs don't really work. And I mean, during the time at which this game first came out, there was really no walkthrough. You just had to go around and ask people. It's like, hey, what am I supposed to be doing? And a lot of times they don't even tell you the answer. But I think that's one of the brilliant things that's kept this company alive and has kept this formula alive for so long, to where it eventually ends up changing the entire gaming industry. And that, to me, is really exciting, and I'm proud to be a part of playing in a game that has done this. Oh man. At least it's an easy battle. Alright. So I'm wanting to know, what are you guys really thinking? What do you guys enjoy most so far? And I mean, I don't get a lot of people that check in just yet, and that's fine by me. I enjoy making the content, I enjoy it whether one person watches or whether 50 people watch. It's exciting to me that you wish to be able to even share. Ugh, not the circus again. But it's really cool. I want to know what you enjoy. I mean, I know people are really enjoying the Emerald Randomizer. And I also find this, like, it's really cool that you guys are getting into the whole Lord Helix thing. I mean, I honestly have my own beliefs, and I don't believe that Lord Helix is God. So, just getting that out of the way here. And yeah, I know that's really random, but it does apply in the fact that it's like, okay, I'm really enjoying this, and I'm really enjoying you guys getting into this whole deal. Which I find really cool, and I want to keep providing this kind of thing for you. I'm considering doing a couple other games, like, I'm wanting to do Castlevania, one of the Castlevania games for Game Boy Advance. And I'm actually considering doing a speedrun. Are you guys interested in seeing that, or should I just shelf that and maybe do a walkthrough? Or maybe I could do a bit of a glitch lesson once I learn better? I mean, I've looked online and there's honestly not too many resources to show, okay, how do you glitch this specific game? Like, and I'm talking about like Aria of Sorrow specifically. Ooh, next floor. But Aria of Sorrow is another one of my games that I really enjoy, and I mean, it's games that I really enjoy that I just love bringing to you guys. Just like Final Fantasy, just like Pokemon, just like Castlevania, and I mean, all of these are games that are classics that have really just shaped the gaming industry as a whole. And that's really cool. I think we're getting close, but we're not quite there yet. Oh, there are so many rooms on this floor, and I just have to keep looking for it. That is one of the disadvantages. I don't necessarily like about RPGs like this. I mean, like Final Fantasy, Pokemon, just when you have to keep searching and searching to find an item, and it's a big old cave, or big old maze, or whatever. And I mean, each game is like their notorious things for them. I mean, for this game, this is probably one of the points where it's just like, I don't know where I'm going. And you kind of get that rock cave feel in Pokemon Red and Blue, where just you go in a cave, it's pitch black, you don't need to have flash, and it's a move that doesn't do any damage anyway, so why even have it? And you just don't know how to get around. I think this is a lot of the same. If I were to learn to speedrun this game, it would probably be a lot different, but it's not one that I really want to speedrun. It's one that I more enjoy doing for just the playthrough, the quality of it, the length of it, and the quality of the journey behind it. Just the fact it's like, okay, you start out, you're weak, you can't really beat too much anything except a couple of goblins that like hanging out on the outskirts of town. And then you eventually get down to defeating this just godly being that just is standing in your way and will destroy the world unless you defeat him. And then the ending, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's honestly kind of sad. Just all this adventure, and then the ending that you get is an interesting one that I didn't see coming the first time I played through it. And I mean, I would have thought otherwise. I would have thought it's like, oh, it's like a general fairy tale, but no. Kudos to Square for really coming up with an interesting ending, I think. Just the fact that this kind of game eventually ends up shaping the entire RPG industry. Like, even RPGs that you'll see today kind of follow this method. Alright. Grey Ooze. Just go. Just go. I hate how they hit hard. But, yeah. I'm almost there. I know it. I know it now. I'm, like, almost there. And I can finally just get to the next part of the story. Ooh, it's the last thing. I'm really hoping you guys enjoy this. And I mean, I know this is a bit of a long discussion here. And honestly, it's starting to get to me. Just, I'm not sure if you can hear it in my voice. I don't think you can. But at the same time, it's really starting to get to the point at which it's like, okay, I've been talking for a while. I'm probably just going to need some water. This is a really long-winded discussion, guys. I mean, trust me. I'm going pretty far so far for you guys on this. And I'm really hoping you guys like it. If not, that's fine, because I'm gonna do it whether you like it or not. Sorry guys, but I think that's about it. So, ooh, yes, this is it. Alright, I'm gonna save and then I'll see you on that side. Whew, made it. Alright. So this is the mini-boss kind of thing of the cave. I mean, the first part at least. Once we get the other items, we should be able to come back here. But I want to do the looting another time. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to beat these, and you'll see these things go down extremely easily if you're prepared. I mean, a lot of area of effective damage is going to be your best friend here. And I mean, I used Protect here, but I really didn't need to. I mean, you're gonna see, they're gonna go down in this next hit, and that's just done. Right there. And voila, we get the crown from it. Now the crown is going to be an important item coming up really soon here, as we're going to need the crown in order to get to our next mini-boss, which is Astos, the Dark Elf, or something like that. And when you combine this item with the Crystal Eye, you're going to be able to get a lot of what you need for this next part of the game. In other words, our time in Elfheim is just about up. the way that's going to work is I get the crown, I go take it to Astos, I battle Astos, which is honestly a really easy battle. I get the Crystal Eye, but then I have to backtrack a little. I have to go all the way up to the northern part of the continent I started on. And there, I need to go up to this old witch's hut, Matoya's hut, and basically give her her Crystal Eye back, because it allows her to see. I guess it's like the magic glasses of the old times? I don't know. But what this will allow us to do is she'll give me a potion or serum or something like that that'll allow the king to wake up. And with access to that, you get the Mystic Key, kind of like I'm trying to unlock that door there. So there is extra loot in this place, in a lot of places. But once you get the Mystic Key, basically every door in the game is unlocked. I mean, it's not like 100%, because sometimes you do need to fulfill some things to get those, but for the most part, these doors are unlocked. So that is a really, really important item that we have to have for the rest of the game. And I mean, that is the most important key item in this entire game, because without it, it doesn't even matter how far you get, how many levels you have, because you'll get nowhere. But anyway, we're just trying to get back here. It's not much that you haven't already seen. I mean, I get lost a couple times, I fight a couple enemies, but that's pretty normal for me. I'll probably just speed this up. I might even do like a mini time-lapse for you, just so you can see it's like I made it out of the cave alive and I made it back to Elfheim. Well, you guys know. I'll see you soon, and I hope you guys enjoy this. Welcome back to Elfheim. So we made it back, we've rested up, and so it's time to prepare for our next journey, which involves fighting a little bit of a mini-boss, which you'll be seeing soon, but I want to kind of gear up just a little bit more first, kind of like the mid-episode gear up, just because I do have a bunch of new stuff that I got as loot, and we shouldn't have to worry too much about gear. I mean, that's primarily taken care of, but what I am really excited about is what we can do with the mages, who've already proved to be outstanding this episode. Again, what I want to do is I just want to finish up the 3-2 build that I've kind of been doing, in which I am going to get Nullfrost and Vox so that I can actually get rid of Silence for the Black Mage, which is like all that it can do during this part of the game, especially. I need Haste. Haste is probably one of the best spells in the game. Whoever you take, you need Haste. Just because Haste and Temper are going to massively buff your damage. Which is a really, really good thing. Now, just a few more items, and then we'll hit the road. So again, to the Western Keep. Let's do this. You guys know this drill by now. You don't want to see all of the whole entire thing of, like, fighting all the monsters and getting there, so I will skip ahead, and I'll be seeing you there. See you soon. Alright, guys, so we made it to the castle. This is where our next key item is. So, after all this, let's go in. This is the Western Keep, or the ruined castle. I mean, it's obviously ruined, but we actually have a bit of a mini-boss here. This is the Elf King, I think? I just do a quick save here, just to be sure. Even though I don't think it'll be that hard. I mean, at this point in time, you can tell we're getting pretty strong. I mean, level 18. The king. This king. Why would a king just randomly sit in his castle like this? It's like, no, this is a trap. I am Astos. And he is really ugly. Yeah. How can he be an elf like that? Or the true elf king, I guess, as he's trying to say, when he's just honestly so downright ugly. You know? So what I decided to do is I decided to just give a few buffs, but it's not really gonna take much. I'm glad that Death missed here, because that probably would have been pretty bad. I mean, even though he does have a move that can kill, I'm not too worried because it has such a low chance of hitting. But yeah, once I get my haste and temper up, then that's going to be really good. So I don't need to worry. I'm going to use Protect again, but I don't think that it's going to take that long. Like, honestly, this is just a mini boss, kind of like how the first boss ended up being. And so as you can see, just done, just eliminated. We just melted right through him. And this was supposed to be a boss! Like, not one of the main bosses, but like a mini-boss or something like that. But either way, we get the crown! Oh, no, not the crown. The crystal eye. What am I talking about? Anyway, this crystal eye is going to be important for the next part of the game, but that will have to come next episode, guys. I want to say thank you for watching, and I hope you really enjoyed. This has been a really fun episode to record, as well as I'm sorry it's taken a while to get it up. I've wanted to do a couple other things, but thank you for being patient with me. I hope you really enjoyed it. If you liked it, leave a like, and if you want, you can subscribe. But thank you guys for watching. This is Krazak, signing out. See ya!